Thanks, Bob. Good evening. 7 o'clock, a little after. I'll call the meeting of the planning board to order. With 3 members present, Michael Fitzgerald, Charlie Kleber, and myself. If there's anyone recording the meeting this evening, would they please make it known? Other than you, Bob. Thanks. Preliminary business. Says the minutes of December 9th are incomplete. Did you get a chance? Do we have the...
January 15th.
We have that? Getting a lot of neighboring town notifications, huh? If anyone needs a copy of the agenda, it's on the front table there. January 5th. Ah, there it is. Prepared to make a motion?
Make a motion to accept the minutes of January 13th, 2014.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Didn't know if she gave me an official. She gave me an official copy for signatures. All right, no invoices, no site plan submission, set a public hearing date for S&H Realty.
Good evening. My name is Michael Kiernan. Good evening, Chairman and other members of the board. I have those, and we have full copies of all the plans right there. Would you like those now?
Yes, please. I suppose, do we have, are there reduced copies here or no?
There are not, but
Okay.
I'm sure we could get you some if that.
No, that's
you
fine.
desire. So that's my part.
Thank you.
And the cover letter doesn't mention it, but the stormwater report, I wasn't sure if that would be here for the submission, but we did have it.
Get the plans up here, if you could give us
Sure.
a brief description of what's planned. That's the plans.
They're charged by the pound.
This is Jake Anderson, who's our engineering company, our on associate.
Do you need a copy to
Look at it, yeah.
work off of?
Or discuss. I'll take it. Thank you.
Okay, if you could use the mic so we get you recorded. If the green light's on, you're live. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, yep. I'm actually on sheet OA1, just to go through the overview of the project. I'm Jamie Anderson with RJ O'Connell Associates, site civil engineer for the project. As you can see on the overall OA1 site plan, this is the Walmart site located at the corner of Toby Road and Cranberry Highway. This is approximately 3.4 acres of land located along Cranberry Highway, and what we are proposing to build at this time is 2 restaurants totaling 5,000 square feet Restaurant A and 5,000 square feet for Restaurant B, and 1 retail building attached to Restaurant A, as you can see in the plan there. That's 4,000 square feet. Not sure how in-depth you want me to go at this time, since it's not a public hearing, so just let me know what kind of information you need at this time, and I can give that to you.
Were there some basic drainage calculations done with Walmart's site plan?
Some basic, sorry?
Drainage calculations or?
Yeah, there we have our own, our separate drain. If you go to sheet C2, let's take a look. This is kind of a overview of the drainage for the project. We are planning several retention basins, as you can see behind the buildings, and off to the right on the plan, and 1 large subsurface drainage system, all which also leach into the ground, into the sandy soils on site.
Were we reserving any extra space for future development? Or?
At this time, we are reserving a spot, as you can see on the left there, next to the main drive, for possible future development, yes.
All right. So what we need to do thinking probably the earliest would be get the advertising done. Would be the 10th of March. Or maybe cut, suppose you need 1. That would be cutting it close. So have you gotten a butters list or anything like that prepared? Are the green cards ready to go out?
Green cards aren't ready to go out yet, but the abutters list is submitted with the materials that are before you. I mean, we could put it together, but
Yeah.
if you're asking, do I have them in my file? No.
No. me see if I can get it right the first time.
Both restaurants are 5,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Looking at them, looks like the one on the right's bigger.
No, yeah, these are sort of generic boxes, yeah, but
Yeah,
the intention is for them to be approximately 5,000 with,
and
once a
one,
tenant has been nailed down, that any sort of tenant in that general shape can fit in, whether it's 5,100 or 4,900, that sort of deal.
just kind of off the, why the big difference in seating?
It's a good question, I guess, without knowing at this
Hi,
time who the
Brenda, I was
tenants
just
would be.
wondering how much time you needed to get the
Again,
advertising
it
out.
could,
Would a
it could
month do
flip-flop,
or
it could be
do you need more?
150 each.
I know,
Um,
a month you'd
One
probably
is
have to
more,
get the
one could
ads
be
out
more
this week.
of a general sit-down.
Anyway, give me a call if you get that
One
back.
could be more of
This
a,
quickly.
family
Thanks.
restaurant, that sort of thing.
No drive-throughs.
No drive-throughs planned at this time.
It is commercial strip, so they are allowed.
I just wondered why the, you know, 'cause one of them, if you calculate it, it's just like 23 square feet per person. The other one's
Yep.
much, much more.
Yeah, again, they're very generic boxes at this
Yeah.
time and sort of,
And
Try to
just
get
looking
that.
at the boxes, they,
Yeah.
it looks like the one on the right's
Agreed.
bigger
agreed, yeah,
in
you're right.
size, but
Mhm.
that's just my old eyes.
No, they seem to be working well.
I'm just trying to get confirmation on whether you get the public hearing paperwork all out of the way in a month. I think it's enough time, but I don't know what her schedule is. Worst case, I would say it's gonna be 31st. Yeah. So if they have no questions for them, I would, Should we err on the side of caution and go for the 31st? Sound good?
Thirty-first.
Of March. So, be looking for a motion for that? Set the public hearing date, or, what's the name of the project?
Right now, we're calling it 28 and Toby.
Motion to set the public hearing date for the 28 and Toby's site plan for March 31st,
At 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
Is that a second? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll see you then. Thank you.
Do you need a check for advertising?
Yeah, I'll have Brenda get in touch with you and
Okay.
get the advertising, the peer review,
Sure. Yeah.
53G account set up. So,
So there will be a peer review on this, typically, it will be on this one.
right.
Thank you.
Great.
Have a good evening.
Let's see. Next up is a recommendation for the planning board to the selectmen for Bayshant Way and Lynn Road. Charlie Rowley has created an estimate for the works that he has to do there for the inspection, and that's been forwarded to the homeowners association. They are meeting, I believe she said this week, and right now that's the only report we have to offer.
Before, so.
Next item is a discussion, I don't know, covenant extension for Edgewood Development Company. The pond at Ferring Hill.
I saw a letter.
That's what I was just looking for.
There was a letter in the email that we received from Brenda.
You printed that out?
I did not, no. I read it today when I was at work.
Okay. I went to print it out, and I saw it was like 43 pages, and well,
It's,
I think I'll pass on printing it.
did you find it, Mr. Chairman?
No, not yet.
It's in our packet here.
Yeah.
The pond at Fearing Hill.
I seem to remember them getting one extension. Good evening.
Community events.
There's a folder over here. Yeah, you see you have a folder over here. If you-
I'll get it. You stay there.
Were they originally approved in 2006? And then they got an extension in 2008?
It was quite a while ago.
Yes.
I don't, do you see the 2006 anywhere?
That was my question, because you said you thought that the board was before my time, offered an extension, but
Alan, were you on the board when we did Edgewood Pond at Faring Hill?
I don't think so.
Huh?
Doesn't ring a bell. Remember what year it was?
That's what we were just trying,
Well,
Chairman, he,
somewhere in the notes I remember 2008, but
It's about that time.
in 2008, I think it would have got an automatic extension to 2000, when it came up for renewal in 2010, I think that was within the time period where the automatic extensions were occurring. I don't know the exact dates, but
yeah, well, he's putting it out. I think there was an extension that got it to, this says it was recorded in 2010.
This one here on the backside of the cover, this is 2006.
yeah, that's where I saw the
Yeah,
date.
okay,
It's on
so-
the page after that.
Then you got July of 2007 and modified March of 2008. That's the cover portion. We
How about you?
could,
Yes. Well, I gave you an extra 2 weeks. I mean, there's the 31st, to be sure. And he asked if you need to check for advertising. If you do, I said you'd be in touch.
but they're reserving a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is quite a different layout than
Yeah.
the original conceptual plan you gave us.
Well,
They don't have any tenants lined up yet, so if their responses to Jim's questions were pretty much open-ended at this point.
yeah, I asked him specifically, and he said there was no drive-through planned at this time, was his answer. Of course, it depends on the tenant, I would. Strip commercial?
Almost here, it says here it was modified on March of 2008.
And then I would assume the board gave an extension to 2010, and then I think the automatic extensions kicked in. Then until now.
Well, on the next page, it says final completion of ways and municipal service on before March 25th, 2012.
My only question is if it's removed in 2006, after there have been changes in the town plan, that maybe should be revisited. Provisions for a bond, or whatever else.
All the, I don't think it would affect the wastewater. Um, All right, I'll check those dates that he's listed as far as the Permit Extension Act. It looks like he's okay if the dates on the Permit Extension Act are good. And the date of our last extension put him in the ballpark in the first place, then I don't think there's any action to be taken. Oh. Thought I was getting a little crowded over here. Accessory building setback requirements.
Evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
We're back to this. You were going to give some thoughts to this a month ago when I was here, and I was wondering what your thoughts have been.
Well, one thing that I threw together, and I haven't run this by anybody yet, was under the accessory building heading. We could probably insert lots of 10,000 square feet or less. Setback can be reduced to 10 feet, providing the abutter, struggling through my own handwriting here, residential setback is at least 10 feet from its property line. So you could go as close as your neighbor's house, basically.
To 10 feet. Well, I was looking to go 5 feet, because sheds still having a 10-foot off the back of a property line for a 10-foot shed is still,
How big's the lot?
well, I'm looking to build a garage, but 99% of the people I talked to, it was all about sheds. And the sheds is, why do I want a shed in the middle of my yard? They want it in the corner. And this is where my support is, so this is where I'm fighting for. Me, I want a garage, I want the 5-foot setbacks, because that's what it was when I bought the property, that's what it was all along. I don't see any reason it was changed. It makes no sense at all.
I thought 10 feet was the closest it had always been,
No,
because
No,
I know my
in
house
old-
was built in the 20s and it was 10 feet.
no, it was not. No. In '02, up to '02, it was 5 feet. In '06, it got changed to 10 feet. And somewhere just recent, it got changed to 15 feet and 10 feet, 15 off the rear and 10 off the side. But until '02, it was always 5 feet, 35 foot high.
How high?
35 foot.
Is that what you're proposing?
I was just gonna go back to the '02 accessory building setbacks, is what my Warren article was gonna be for.
Well, what about height?
The height wasn't a real concern. Like I said, I'm looking to build a garage, but the majority of my support is for a shed, and most of it's gonna be less. Of course, I'm gonna throw myself a bone, because I started this to build my garage. And this is what I'm here for. And I want a 2-story garage, but the second story, 9,000 square feet.
And how big of a garage are you looking to build?
I was looking to build 20 by 24. And that's, what my neighbors have, that's what was built when we all built houses, and, they didn't have kids, I had kids, so the kids came first. And I don't see any reason it was ever changed, to be honest with you. It makes no sense why it was changed. And I'll always go back to this lady, Rose, and she says, I didn't want to look like the village idiot by putting a shed in the middle of my lot. So she never built one. And I go back to what else I've said. All of a sudden you go by on a Friday, there's no shed there. You come by on a Monday morning, there's a shed there. Well, there goes a lot of work for someone, and there goes a lot of building permit money or what else, but it's going to be done, it's being done anyway. I just refuse to sneak around like a criminal to build a garage. It's just, I'm not going to do it.
The 10 feet was probably for the primary structure. It was 20 feet front and rear and 10 feet the sides, but that was probably
Right.
primary structure, not accessory.
Accessory buildings, like I said, until '02 were always 35 foot high. Which, if I had had a public meeting with the planning board, I would have blown this whole town up, because I changed all the zoning laws back to '02. And that's what would have happened. I had the votes for it. It was not a question of what would happen, it would have happened. And that was, I didn't mean to do it, and I didn't want to do it, but the selectmen never gave me the meeting I was supposed to have with them. So when they said, oh, well, that's a nuclear option, well, look in the mirror. I asked you, and I asked you, and I called every other day for a meeting that I never got, until the day it had to be in. Which is a problem here. We're coming now. If I still have to, if I'm putting a warrant article together, I have to have a public meeting with this board also before the spring vote. Now, I don't know when the spring meeting is, but that last gentleman couldn't have a public meeting till the 31st of March, if I understood that whole conversation to be right.
Yeah, it was probably a little long. We probably could have pulled it off in a month, but it's a little different with this type of public hearing. There won't be mailings done, and it'll just be a newspaper ad for 2 weeks, so. We
Yeah,
have to have a public meeting on all the warrant articles related to zoning anyway,
Mhm,
so,
right.
you know, we'll schedule that date.
Like I said, I was looking, I'm not allowed to cause the town any heartaches or any heartaches on the building department or anything else. I just want to be able to build my garage the way I always could when I bought my land.
You know, I'm in the same boat. I'm on a 8,500 square foot lot, and my garage was, I thought, more than 5 feet. It was probably, anyway, if I go to put it back, I can't.
Which doesn't make sense. It was always fine there before. Like I said, my lot hasn't changed, my neighbors haven't changed, so what's changed? My neighbors have no complaints about it.
Members have any feelings? Should,
I'm just going by what I've experienced in other towns.
mhm.
I think 5 feet's too close personally, so, but other towns are 15 feet more, but you can go for a variance.
Mhm.
The towns do approve them. I think that's a good process. I also think 35 feet is too high. Elevation
Mhm.
of a out structure. I'm not opposed to what you're asking, but I think that, in some instances, it might be better that each applicant goes for their own permit on their own merits. As you said, your neighbors haven't changed, so if you came to a board with all of the neighbors' support, it's usually unlikely that a board would say no.
See, I've already gone in front of the zoning board informally, and they've told me, no, they would not do it. You're gonna meet 4 criteria. And they hold you to that 4 criteria, which you cannot meet. And if there was a engineering company here, they'd be able to tell you what that criteria is. I do not know. I know one's a hardship, but it's not a financial hardship, it's a land hardship.
Well,
But there's 4 criteria.
I mean, it sounds like you have a fairly small lot. I think that's a bit of a hardship. I mean, I don't see that you wouldn't be entitled to an outbuilding, and it certainly doesn't sound like you're trying to build a commercial garage. You're just trying to build a garage for your vehicle, so.
Well,
I don't know the criteria for the zoning board in this
Well,
town.
but on the same hand, if you're gonna go build, and here's where you got the problem with these box stores dropping sheds all over the place, is why should I spend $320 to go in front of a zoning board of appeals, then another $72 to put it in the paper to put up a 10 by 10 shed? You have $400 into it, and on their whim, whether they're gonna grant it or not, before you've put up a stick yet. You're into it for $400. Things are expensive enough without just creating costs for no reason.
Right.
You know, and this is basically a no-brainer. Why do you want a shed in the middle of your yard? I don't know about you, but if I have something I don't want to look at, a plow or whatever, it's going behind that shed because I don't want to look at it. Let the neighbor look at it.
Right.
And if you don't have that land there, it's not going to be behind there. You know, and that keeps neighbors friendly and on good terms, unfortunately. And like I said, there is no one I have met yet that can understand why a shed is in 15 feet. And they're not going to understand why it's 10 feet off the property either when the shed's only 10 foot long or 10 foot wide.
Yeah.
Now, when I talked to Bob, the building inspector there, his suggestion was to have anything under 200 square foot. I was going to go 12 by 12, 144, but he wanted 200 for whatever his reasons were, and have it go back to 5 foot. But that was his suggestion. You know, we talked to him about it. It's been a while since I talked to him, a month or so ago, right before the last meeting. And that was his thinking. Anything under 200 square feet would just be, you just go get your permit for, you know, it's not a big deal.
Right.
I suppose that's what they can drop there anyway, so come in, be gone in a day, and everybody loses out that way, the town, everyone, so. Like I said, I was just looking for support from the board in this endeavor. I'm kind of running out of time here, so I have to kind of have your input one way or the other here, so.
Well, that's the way, only way I could see of correcting it is, because when you get over 10,000 square feet, generally you have enough room to put in a garage or a shed or both. So
Well,
that's,
anything over 10,000 square feet is fairly a new built. Most of these 10,000 square foot were built before you needed an acre to build. You know, and they were all subdivisions, mostly in Wareham, you know, it was come in.
well, you got lots surrounded of 4,000.
Right, yeah.
3,800 square feet.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Charlie?
Nope.
Yeah, you could probably put something.
35 feet's too high.
I
Well-
agree with the height thing, but that's what it was, and that's what it was up to 2002. Was, 5 foot, 35
But
foot high.
you're asking to put this back to exactly what it was in 2002.
Well, it doesn't have to be. Like I said, I came here looking for guidance,
Yeah.
I can put in the warrant article anything that everyone kind of agrees to, you know? I don't want to go and blow the town up, like they said, it was a nuclear option. Well, it's not what my intent was,
Right.
you know? I kind of want to do this responsible and, for everyone.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I put 10 feet because that's what I thought the old setback used to be, but
Well,
maybe that with a reference to being no taller than the neighboring structure or the primary residence, something like that. Well, even primary residence can be
Yeah.
pretty tall.
Most average garages are under 20 feet, so I think, there should be
I
some
would say,
type of limitations.
of course, like I said, I want a two-story, but it's not a true second story. I just want storage, so it's gonna be a knee wall on the second
Right.
storage, so
It's gonna be the pitch of the roof.
right.
Yep. So, and at 12 pitch, you'll be 20 feet, right? Pretty much. Unless the first floor is very, high.
Yeah, I'm just looking to have a regular,
Yeah.
I'm not bringing a tractor trailer in there or anything, I just want my regular thing, but like I said, just going for the
But
support of the
really,
board.
I mean, if you're gonna put an exception in there, it should reflect the fact that there is gonna be somebody that's gonna try and build something tall enough to put a motorhome or a tractor trailer or something that's gonna be
Right.
not in character with the neighborhood.
What do you think, 25 feet? I would say 25 feet, because that would eliminate that problem also, I go 25 feet. 5 and 25 foot. If you guys will support that, then that's what I'll write up, and I'll come to the next meeting and show you what I have, and
Well, you'll have to sell this at town meeting. We'll hold the public hearing and get whatever input we have.
no, well, I just, like I said, I want support of the board. If I can have it, I'd just soon, work within what you guys think is right, and what Bob, the inspector, thinks is a way to go for the town, And as long as I have time for the public meeting, I'll bring it and show you guys what I have at the next board meeting, which will be, 2 weeks from today?
Yeah.
That's agreeable to everyone?
Does have to be, what's the last day for petition articles?
Petition articles, we closed the warrant on the 18th
Of March?
February.
Next week,
So
or this week.
this week Friday.
Okay, so, well, and I'll have to just submit it, and we'll go from there, so. All right, gentlemen, I guess that's where we'll be.
It's a citizen's petition, so it doesn't go through the board of select. The only thing that would go through, I think town council would review it for legality, whether or not it meets the criteria.
I meant to bring my copy of the bylaws in. Do you have the copy there? proposed changes.
That was given to me. I don't even know if they're accurate.
Well, that looks like an old one, although it says 2012.
That's all I mean. Is that what you're looking for?
Is it a new one? Zoning bylaws or regular bylaws? I think the bylaws are up to 2013.
Outbuildings?
Yeah,
That'd be in the zoning bylaws, is that just bylaws?
Bylaws.
Would that be in the zoning bylaws?
I don't know.
Just ask the question.
You might know. Building sewers, rules, regulations. It's not there.
Sure, I think this is, I'm not sure what year this is, but.
I think the change was done in 2006.
35.
Yeah.
2006, it got changed to 10 and 10. And somewhere recent, I think it was 2012, it was
20.
changed to 15,
15.
10 and 15 off the back, 10 off the sides. Why the 15 off the back, it never made sense to anyone why that was done.
I'd have to see that. I don't think there was anything done in 12. I'd have to see where that came from.
But I know 06 was 10 and 10, because I have that one in here somewhere too.
The last time it was changed, I think, was the zoning rewrite was 2006.
But that was for 10 and 10. Somewhere after that, I made 15.
Do you have it in writing somewhere?
You need to check,
I have 06s and it shows 10 and 10. And it was on, and for the years, it was on the building inspector's bench right there, that it was 10 and 10. I do have it, let me see where I put it here. This is 02 right here. 5, 5, and 35.
The homeowners associations,
Has to pay.
they're meeting later this week to approve the payment. Mr. Rowley gave them a proposal.
where did these tables come from?
Those were mine, here's the 02, 22.
Okay.
Ones, those I'm not sure what year. This is 06 right here. Accessory buildings right here, 10, 10, and 10. Oh, they were, I know it was 15, I'm sorry. I'm not sure. That may be the one that Brenda gave me. This could be the new one right here. I don't know if there's a date on it.
I won't mix up your paperwork too bad.
I got mixed up enough.
Yeah, I would also limit it to residential, too.
Right, okay. These were what they were in 02. It was, 35 was the height.
Mm-hmm.
5, 5.
But see, that was residential R130, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're all here, they're all the same.
They're all the same.
Yeah. 40, 30, 43, 60, 130, 5, 35.
So does that help you?
Well, will we be in agreement at 5, 5, and 25? Is that what we came up with here in residential only?
Yeah, under 10,000 square foot.
Under
lot
10,000
was
under
my
10,000.
recommendation.
Okay. Okay. That's the way I'll write it up and submit it. Come in 2 weeks and I'll show you the copy of what I put anyway. And even though it's submitted, there's not much I can do about that now. But
Well, I mean, the public hearing, if you get some impact you think is important, you can amend it on the floor.
okay. All right, thank you.
Take care.
Next is Walmart. Final. Is there something note on that?
It says see property file.
We have one there?
Oops.
See a Walmart there.
They do actual tenants.
They do not.
They just think that they might do 2 restaurants and a retail.
Yeah.
But it could be anything.
Well, that's what they're proposing though, restaurants and retail.
It's their last response with Mass Highway. Regarding what they've got to do. Have they submitted anything?
I think they're already done somewhere in the next couple of weeks. Pretty sure I saw some paperwork come through.
So, selectmen accept land, right? So you will create the warrant article for that, or is there one necessary?
No, it's just the case, the town gave us some.
Town meeting doesn't have to vote to accept it.
I thought that was done at a previous town meeting.
I think you do. I think there has to be an acceptance unless there's been something accepted that allows the selectmen to do it. Actually, shouldn't it be Mass Highway accepting it since it's gonna be in their layout?
No, it's gonna be on Toby Road, so Toby Road.
I thought both.
I could have sworn the town meeting did something regarding the beaten land.
Does the Robinsons proposal have to go before the sewer commissioners again and make sure there's capacity and water and all that?
It's a new structure, so they have to.
Walmart had put in
If you remember back then, they tried to do that. Remember they had that blanket number they wanted? And we didn't do that. No, strictly for Walmart.
On that score, do you think this needs to go to peer review, just to be sure on the,
This one?
yeah,
I
the-
would say yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And final inspections and.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. There's no questions on Walmart, excuse me. We need a sneeze button, I need to be faster. Citizen Planner Training Collaborative. The classes are March 15th. I'm sure you got notices as to what's. Usually do that on Saturdays.
I do.
15th is is Saturday. Mm-hmm, March 15th.
No.
Say you would have missed a boat.
It is a Saturday.
What'd you say, Charlie?
March 15th is a Saturday.
So you're gonna take us all over those?
Sure, you push.
In the rolls.
Frankie's driving us all over.
He's moving in his camera.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah. Yes, he's watching me.
Big Brother's watching?
Somebody's got to watch us. Somebody's got to keep an eye on us. The eye in the sky.
We have two Chapter 91 waterways license applications. That, it's kind of a formality. Although I see one is the town of Wareham. Yep.
If I remember it, Gary is taking, to the dock, the boat right there, and they're gonna put, originally supposed to be way
Oh.
back,
Oh, yeah.
they put a floater on there for dinghies and stuff, for people who have, the moorings up there, to kick them off the beach and off the grass and stuff.
Anyway, this, for our part, this is just a notice that we've noticed, been noticed that the project is taking place. It has to go to the zoning officer for certification that it meets zoning. And the construction itself would have to go to conservation, probably already has. The next thing is a waterways application for 18 Pine Tree Drive. And it's a license to maintain a fixed wooden pier and seasonal floats.
Is that the one that there was all the lawsuits over?
I don't think so. That's Terigny, isn't it?
That-
Although the 18,
Oh, no, that's right, Pine Tree Drive.
well, that's Pine Tree Drive
Yeah.
too, I think, isn't it?
No, that's
The one that was-
that's Cranston Way.
Oh, okay.
Trigny's is Cranston Way. Pine Tree Drive is going out on Whittemore Point. It's between my house and 6 and 28
Yeah.
on the right, yeah. Just past, yeah, where Robertson's house is. Take a right on Pine Tree. It goes out. Zecco Marine's on the end. Yeah. Yep. It doesn't show, I don't have a copy of it.
It's a description of the work, it's a plan. checklist of what they need to do.
Yeah, why, yeah. It's nothing that we have to review? No? Yeah, it just seems kind of silly to send it to us and put it on the agenda when we have no, you know, it just seems if the state rule is that they have to send it to the planning board, you would think that they're looking for a planning board to make a comment.
Well, I suppose we could,
Yeah. But,
you know, if we saw something in here that we didn't like, we could pass it along.
we don't have copies of that in our file, though. At least I didn't see one. Oh, wait a second. No, I'm wrong. We have a, yeah, we have a thing that says, right after Cahoon Place Form C memo, municipal planning board notification. To license and maintain a fixed wooden pier and seasonal floats. It's just a paper, but it doesn't show a plan. And then we have the Oak Street one on the back side of it. But I mean, it really isn't, you know, there's just the actual application, but no plan or drawings. It's in this first package. Just before that Edgewood development, the page just before Edgewood.
This is just the, this just says this.
That's just the notification page.
Notification that you're, been submitted.
Yeah.
What should I do?
Yeah, that's all that is. I mean, there's no plan, there's no, it says that they're gonna build a, yeah. So there really isn't anything to,
I think it's just a little fail-safe thing there that somebody in the town gets to know something's going on.
yeah. If it's nothing that we need to review on or give comments on, then, you know. Hey, anytime you can take something off the plate.
And I don't see
Generally, with any of these
a clean
projects-
copy of the minutes we approved to sign off on. All right. Status of 2298 Cranberry Highway. I don't think there's been any, I think so. Let's see if it's in. I don't think we've heard anything on that score. Last time we we're gonna waive the citizen planner training thing, and we're all going to Atlanta. Town has enough money to get us halfway down, but not back. If we walk. I believe that 2298 Cranberry Highway, last we knew was the letter sent. The board voted if that was a withdrawal, that they would be able to withdraw. If not, we voted to deny it, I believe, for lack of information.
Yeah.
Building permit guide, I started to go through that
Yeah, this-
earlier in the day, and I,
The first 10 or 15 pages, so.
Please use your mic.
Oh, sorry.
I can't hear a word you're saying.
What'd you say, Bob?
I couldn't hear a word you were saying before.
That's because I wasn't saying anything. The first 10 or so pages are have all the information. The next pages are just copies out of the different fee forms, application forms. We tried scanning them, and unfortunately, when you go to scan them, it decides to put them into the system in a foreign language sometimes, or moves things around. So Mrs. Whiteside has volunteered to go through and actually enter everything in from scratch again and get it into a standard format that we can use. But I would say if you go through the first page up to page 7, 13, at least up to page 14, 15, up through page 16, everything there is what has been done, cleaned up a little bit. So what we're looking for is any feedback, if anything, where there's an error needs to be changed. And also, if there's things that you want to go in from the planning department, just let us know what particular forms, and we'll try and get them in. The problem is that when all these forms were done over the years, they were done on different computers, different systems, and there is no record of who, when, where, and how. So that was the problem I had with this. But we're slowly getting it together. We'll do a flow chart at the end of the whole thing to make it easy also.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask Selectman Slater a few questions?
No.
Should we attach the electrodes first, or?
First question is in reference to
Truth or false?
residential permits,
Yep.
and specifically to renovations. I did briefly read this paperwork today at work, and I didn't see a specific, clear definition of when a permit is required.
Okay.
And I think that is a very confusing area in a lot of towns for people. I
As a-
saw that. I saw obtaining a residential building permit, but I mean, I did not see specifically.
In the last paragraph, as a general rule, new construction, all alterations, additions, or repairs to an existing structure, commercial or residential, require a permit.
Yeah.
But that's not what part of the other paperwork said that I read here. It said that,
That is a little broad, but I don't know how you can fit every little nook and cranny into a paragraph.
section, it talked about, if you had to kind of determine if what you were doing reached the criteria, whatever the criteria is, to apply for a building permit.
Mhm.
They said painting's not applicable, and so, and I know in some towns, they specifically say if it's not structural. Some towns say if it's not, does not exceed $1,000 in value. So, I guess my question is to help the residents of Wareham, maybe it could be better defined.
Okay.
And that's just, I'm just saying that as someone who's done a lot of renovations in different towns. You have
Yeah, it used to be like a window. If you were putting a smaller size, you didn't need a permit.
Right.
Because the header didn't need to
There's no
change.
structural
There was
change.
nothing structural involved.
Well,
But now you do, because
yeah, and I've seen in some towns where you can replace interior doorways. So you're not doing any structural change, you're taking out one doorway and putting in a new door. And they didn't consider that structural, so it wasn't required in that town. Then the other towns are, if it exceeds $1,000, you have to pull a permit. So I just think it's confusing for residents, and I wouldn't want to see a resident get penalized with a fine because they didn't understand their obligation. I think on the commercial side, it's a little bit clearer and a little bit easier to understand, but I think on the residential side, it's a little confusing.
That's a good point.
See what we can do. The basic idea was to funnel them into, the Inspectional Services Department, have them ask the question to start with, what they're doing.
I think.
Because they don't get there at all is the problem.
well, the history has been that if you go into an inspection department and ask a question, the question is always yes.
Yeah, you're getting a permit.
But,
So, that's why I'm saying if it's well defined, then the resident will know that they have to go in or they don't have to go in.
And if you look at the title of this document, Building Permit Guide.
Did you put the
That would
paragraph?
seem to be one of the first paragraphs. It should be
Did you
there.
put the paragraph
Is
in, it's
defining what's
easier to
requ-
beg forgiveness than to get permission?
No.
My other question is relative to the Historical Society. I guess my question is, and I don't know the ins and outs of all that, but are they entertaining, I know currently, what is it, 50 years?
75 now.
Oh, it's 75. Okay, so it's changed, because last I heard it was 50, and,
You should see the change in the
yeah, okay.
On demo,
demo.
What
for
about,
demo permits.
what about renovation?
They don't
It
have-
doesn't affect
The
that.
historic, that's only to do with the Historical District Commission.
The historical district that, so far, I've not seen any language that proves it exists, so.
Oh,
Historical District Commission is only, you have to get a certificate of appropriateness or whatever
Hmm.
that they have if you're in a historical district.
right.
That's all they, and
But what
if it's visible from the street, what are you
What if
doing?
you're doing renovations to a building that is 75 years old?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Exterior renovations do not matter?
It doesn't matter unless it's in the historical district.
Okay. Thank you.
Was what?
There's no description.
We do. We have the area of the historical districts on maps. It was hand-drawn back before the state. The state changed the law in 1974 in November. You had to file with the Plymouth County, Plymouth Deeds, the actual historic district. The historic district for Center Park was actually formed in like March of 1974. Did not require the town to submit to the Registry of Deeds the historical district. The map that's drawn is a legal document,
And it delineates the historical district.
as best as
So
it can be.
it was passed by a vote of town meeting in 1974?
It was accepted by town meeting.
Mr. Chairman, weren't you there at that meeting?
I would have to check the roll to see if I was there.
Yeah, that goes back to,
I know I had narrowed it down to between 72 and 74, but I haven't gone and looked up the,
we went and we actually traced back because we had the issue with One Park Street,
Mhm.
you know, and they claimed, this is the issue, they claimed they were in the historical district because there's no paperwork. They said there was nothing in the Registry of Deeds that said that building was in a historical district. It turns out, like I say, when that historical district was established was March of 74, and the state law that changed with the requirements was November of 74. So what we had in place at that time was sufficient.
okay, I will read through that a little
Yeah, this is just the first,
better and mark it up.
this is just the first shot. You know, we're trying to get some feedback.
I did notice a lot of typos, and I'll circle them and send them to you.
Yeah, we expected that. Matter of fact, I expect Mrs. Whiteside to clean most of that up.
Oh, all right.
Because like I say, what happens is when you sit and scan, for some reason, the scan program the town has looks at some things, it comes out fine, other things, it changes the words, or it comes out with,
Once in a while, I get an email from council, and it's just one long word. There's no separation. There's, yeah,
I don't know about that, I just know that when I first went through it and got it printed out and I looked at it, I just couldn't believe what I had. I spent hours trying to reformat some of the stuff.
I also get a vendor that I use that sometimes his invoices come through in Russian. It's like, TDR draft. Oh, 2/20, I was looking for the date. It was all scribbled together. Workshop in the cafeteria at Town Hall, 7 PM on
February 20th.
February 20th.
I got some things here for you on that. I believe everybody's got a copy of the latest draft. It should say February 9th, 2014 at the bottom right-hand corner. So it'd be good to go over that, to be familiar with it. As always, this is a zoning bylaw change. So therefore, if this gets submitted by the planning board. George, I think you were not at the last meeting on Friday, I think last week. I think we've got it down to most of the points are covered now. There's a couple.
Yeah, I saw the email earlier in the day which said you were going to reschedule, but I didn't see that. I didn't know it was that day until I got your voicemail
Yeah, I
on my
tried.
way to New Hampshire.
Sorry, I tried.
I got from Sandy, from Serped, we have actually a couple things. One, do you want to have, this is a public workshop, it's not a hearing. You still have to schedule a hearing. This is the first one, just to have people look at it and make comments,
Mm-hmm.
et cetera. We'll put this up on the website hopefully tomorrow. And we're supposed to put notices out to the different newspapers that we're having a public workshop, and I'll mention it tomorrow night also. My question is, Sandy wants to know if you want a large 34 by 44 map that shows receiving and sending areas, or would you prefer some 8.5 by 11 handout size, or would you like both?
I'm sure, how many people did we have at the last workshop?
I can't guarantee, I have no idea, we had one or two, but, at least we'll try.
I'm sure we probably need both, one big enough to work off of and
Okay.
the smaller ones for people to take home.
All right, and she also wanted to know, would you like some graphic to represent how a TDI works as well?
If she has them readily available, I think we have them somewhere, but it might be better
Okay.
if it's,
And do you want her,
late.
do you want her to attend?
Is she comfortable enough with the final rendition that she
Yeah,
could?
I've got a couple notes from her. She just has, formatting comments, couple questions, observations with the determination of the NULA. I haven't spoke to her. I asked her to get a hold of John Witt and go over it.
I saw that note, but I didn't see what her questions
She
were.
didn't supply them either, so that's why I just sent her a note to get a hold of them. Because up to that point, everybody had gone back and forth. And we also have a comment from Ms. Burke about on-site treatment can be done a number of ways, because we made some changes at the last meeting. I don't know if you noticed on the latest version. Charlie made up a couple changes. I thought he might be here tonight. Including Title V, and the facility is a pretty broad term. On the other hand, definitions say that land within the receiving area shall be reserviced by town sewer and public water. Seeing as you would have to change one or the other of these, I would think it's in the best interest of the town to encourage the use of a packaged plant in lieu of a sewer tie-in. Just know that with the current language, you're speccing a nitric system. I think Charlie was talking about a package system, and that would be, I think he had 5 parts per million.
Well, I think one of the driving forces of doing this is developing where your infrastructure already exists.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could put a definition of how to develop outside of infrastructure with a package plant.
Yeah, because Charlie was talking, not a Title V system, obviously, but a package, actual treatment system. That's why I think he had the 5.
Well, that was one of the benefits that we saw early on, that the reduction in road construction costs could provide the funds for package treatment.
Okay. So if you want, I think if you go through the last one you had, and the new one we sent you, or the one you have there, you can see where a couple changes were. I expect that Mr. Whitten will have a couple updates from the comments here, and then we should have a workable draft.
Yeah, I think it would be good for Sandy to be here if she can make it.
Okay. I just,
That way she hears the,
my only concern is, we have X number of hours,
Mhm.
and you also want to do a zoning project too with her, so you have to be careful that we don't burn up too many hours. Okay. All right.
just the way she hears the issues firsthand, if there are any.
Yeah, now, do you want Mr. Whitten here if possible or not? I asked Charlie if he would come, thought it'd be helpful.
Was John at the last meeting?
No, we did remote participation for the last 2. We had the phone up in the room there, so basically we had it on the phone. Worked fine.
Well, if he wants to do that.
Well, I'm asking, What's the pleasure of the board?
Is he pretty well set with it, or
Yeah.
who's doing the changes and
He's,
editing? Is it him or is it Sandy?
no, he's doing it. That way we have one person controlling. Everything comes funnels into him, and he listens to what everybody's comments are. And basically, when we have the meetings, the group meeting, it's a consensus of the group, and then he picks up and goes from there. I think the problem the time before was we had all of us throwing things back through to John, who was getting out of hand.
Yeah, John was getting some and Sandy was getting some.
Yeah, and it wasn't-
So maybe it'd be productive to have them both there.
Okay. See what we can do. Because when you do the actual public hearing, are you gonna want them both there? So my question is, which is more beneficial to you? Because when it comes time to actually do the warrant article itself at town meeting floor, I'm going to make a thought that you would probably want Whitten there, just in case.
Probably. We'll kind of see how the hearing goes, how the workshop and the hearing goes.
Okay. I'll send a note to John about it, see if he can or can't make it. That's all I got on that.
Email from Mass DOT, I think I read that the other day.
So you want a definition of what's required as a permit for residential?
Just detail what triggers the definite need for permit application. You know, certain work triggers it.
Okay, I'll go down and speak to Mr. Iafredi.
You know, I just know in some towns it's a dollar threshold, and then some towns it's structural. I just don't wanna see some guy replacing a few of his own windows, and when they start to stop buying fire, well, I could even do it. There's no structural change to it. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be, so, you know, I just don't wanna see someone get thrown apart, and sometimes, you know, some inspectors can be a little overzealous. You know, if I had, without every fire they see.
Long stick and a marshmallow.
The letter from Mass DOT is, again,
Yeah, I started reading the, yeah.
Yeah.
yes, it is. Six notice of non-discrimination.
The dates have already passed, right?
We move Massachusetts is built on extensive customer outreach that Mass DOT started. Like Cranberry Highway? Yeah, that was massive.
That on the fifth. Did you miss it?
Darn, I missed it.
We stopped this today.
It's that massive community outreach.
Sure. Communications.
See, That other citizen's petition that was handed me by Mr. Mulkern, I have no idea what to do with that. What he handed me was a building inspector's, a building bylaw. And as far as I can see, other than the $100 fee, it's all within the building inspector's power to do right now. So I don't know. I talked to the moderator, I said, I don't know what kind of direction to give him for that. You send him to me to help him prepare something for town meeting. I don't know if he submitted anything. I was told he was away, but I'm not sure. Oh, we have such riveting courses at the training collaborative, planning for climate change. The ins and outs of medical marijuana. Shouldn't that be the ups and downs?
Highs and lows. Yeah. The Munchie Shuffle.
I wonder if it'll be a workshop.
Yeah. Did any place in Wareham? No one?
There was one state representative, somebody, now president of some firm, he had 3 locations, I think 2 in Plymouth County and 1 in Bristol County.
Bill Delahunt got some.
That's the one.
But no specific
And
location?
somebody else in a, I don't know if it was a selectman or something.
There was someone, but either way, it was nobody from Wareham. There was a substantial amount of basement.
Yeah, there was a,
And it went up in smoke. That's the decline of our society.
We don't have any kind of.
there goes the convenience store.
Of course, it doesn't, I don't know if we can restrict where it can be grown. You could convert the fish market to a greenhouse, no problem.
Big garages.
Hydroponic, you could pump the stuff uphill and it'd come back in.
All clean.
And that's all I have on the agenda this evening, unless someone else has something to come forward with.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion's been made to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye. Yay.
Meeting adjourned at 8:26. Thank you.